What is up YouTube? This is Fresh Pair returning for the second edition of our one-on-one matchup. This is where I compare one shoe against another based on my experience hooping in them. In the end, I will choose one shoe based on my overall performance preference. For today's one-on-one matchup, it will be between the Nike KD9 and the Nike Hyperdunk 2016 Flyknit, both of which were designed by Liu Chang. I have played in both shoes for about 20 hours each now, and I've tried my best to evaluate their performance aspects, so here we are. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, more videos are coming. Give this video a thumbs up as well. Follow me on Instagram for updates. Check my website in case you missed my performance reviews for the KD9 and the Hyperdunk 2016 Flyknit. I gotcha. All the links are posted below. With that out of the way, let's get it. On with the matchup. Both shoes use Flyknit, but there are differences. The upper material of the Hyperdunk mainly uses Flyknit in a standard weaving pattern, and it has glue and flywire reinforcement at the vamp. There are flywire cables at the sides as well. On the other hand, while the KD9 uses Flyknit at the forefoot and midfoot, the structural integrity of the Flyknit relies on the hexagonal weaving pattern. In that sense, the KD9 showcases a bit of design ingenuity over the Hyperdunk. The hexagonal design is really functional. Plus, it doesn't hurt that the KD9 has durable outsole and laces. I cannot say the same thing with the Hyperdunk. With that said, for overall materials, the KD9 gets the win. I've played on clean and dusty floors for both shoes. On clean courts, both have good traction, which should be the case. However, it is on moderately dusty courts where the difference becomes noticeable. On moderately dusty courts, the KD9 has average to, at times, just a little above average traction. The same is not so true for the Hyperdunk. The thing is, the KD9 has better grip than the Hyperdunk when dust is present. I've noticed the difference quite a number of times that I've played in both, and I can say that the difference in traction seals the deal. So for traction, the KD9 takes another win. Both shoes use zoom cushioning. The difference is that the KD9 uses a variant of max zoom, and it truly runs from heel to toe, and it extends all the way to the sides without a shadow of doubt. The Hyperdunk 2016 Flyknit, on the other hand, does not. It uses your traditional zoom bag instead, and it runs from the heel to the area where the ball of the foot is, although loosely speaking it is also full length, but if we are going to be strictly technical, it is definitely not full length. Another thing, the KD9 offers a more responsive cushioning, while the Hyperdunk Flyknit feels more plush. On most occasions though, I prefer a more responsive ride. So for cushioning, I gotta give it again to the KD9. This is not to say that the cushioning in the Hyperdunk is bad, it's also good. Rather, this is to say that I prefer the cushioning in the KD9 more. It's simply one of a kind at this point. Let's go to the fit. I've said it before and I'll say it again, it is tough to slide your foot past the instep of the KD9. Wide footers will definitely have a problem with this. It takes some squeezing and patience, but once laced up, lockdown is definitely on point. The Hyperdunk, however, gets the lockdown on point as well, but it does so without the trouble of having to squeeze your foot inside it. I mean, sure, the sleeve can get in the way a bit, but it's not as bothersome as the low instep of the KD9. Plus point, the Hyperdunk can also accommodate wide footers without sizing up if they prefer a good snug fit. So for fit, I gotta say that the Hyperdunk 2016 Flyknit owns it. Both shoes offer minimal features in terms of support. It's like both have been scaled down to the fundamentals, which is to say that you will have to rely much on your footwork plus the best fit that you can get. Now the main thing that separates the two in terms of overall support is stability. You see, the KD9 has a very responsive cushioning to the point that it can become unstable or wobbly at times. You do not want that if you do a ton of sharp lateral motions while having bad footwork. On the other hand, the Hyperdunk sits lower to the ground while providing a plush ride that is stable. This is relatively friendly for all types of footwork. So for support, I gotta give it to the Hyperdunk 2016 Flyknit, mainly because this is more stable. If price alone is the basis, the winner is clear, the KD9, which retails for $150 or 7,645 pesos in the Philippines. On the other hand, the Hyperdunk 2016 Flyknit retails for $200 or 9,895 pesos in the Philippines. That's a difference of $50 or 2,250 pesos in favor of the KD9. If you ask me, the price difference is huge, especially if you're running on a budget as tight as a nun. So for the price, the KD9 obviously gets my thumbs up. Just to be clear, both the KD9 and the Hyperdunk 2016 Flyknit are good on-court performers. Each has its strengths and weaknesses, but their differences can make or break them based on individual preferences. Between the two, the KD9 has better materials in terms of how they are implemented. The KD9 also has better traction and a more responsive cushioning while being cheaper at the same time. On the other hand, the Hyperdunk 2016 Flyknit has better fit and support in terms of stability while having a plush cushioning. So, if these two were the only shoes left in the world and I had to choose only one to hoop in, I'd take the Nike KD9. To be honest, I can live with the rather unstable ride of the KD9 at times. It's just that the cushioning of this shoe is too hard to pass up on, and I have also already gotten used to it. Plus, this has better traction, although frankly it is definitely not the best, and the cheaper price compared to the Hyperdunk 2016 Flyknit is always a bonus. That is it for today's one-on-one matchup. How about you? What's your pick, the KD9 or the Hyperdunk? Let me know in the comments section. And while you're at it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and give this video a thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram for updates. Check my website for more stuff. The links for my performance reviews for the KD9 and Hyperdunk 2016 Flyknit are posted below. Thank you for watching. This is Fresh Pair signing out for today. Peace.